Hey everyone, it's Chris here, and today I'm going to be talking about the clothing layering system I use when I head out on my hikes. Alright, so one of the most important things for your comfort on hikes and being able to effectively regulate your body temperature is to have a good layering system for your clothing. And today I'm primarily going to be talking about the upper body clothing, and that's with the layering system that I'm going to talk about and the one that I use for hikes. So essentially, you're normally going to have three main layers of clothing. You're going to have a base layer, a mid layer, and then an outer layer or shell. And you can use these in different combinations to make sure that you're able to either stay cool enough or be able to warm up while you're hiking. Obviously, when you're actively walking along, you're going to be warmer, and as you're burning more energy, you feel hotter and you're probably going to sweat more. Once you're actually stopping for a rest or getting to camp at night, then you're going to cool down very quickly. So you need to be able to have effective layers that you can put on to make sure that you're going to continue to feel warm when you're not active. Deciding which clothing you're going to be taking with you on hikes can be one of the most difficult decisions to make for what you're actually going to be wearing as well as what you have to carry in your pack. It's common for people who are newer to hiking to fall into the trap of thinking that they need to take more clothes than they actually need, and also using fabrics that aren't going to be the best for use in the outdoors because of the properties they have about holding moisture and being able to dry out quickly. So it's well known that a fibre like cotton is not a great one to take out for hiking and camping and being in the outdoors. And that's really because it holds a lot of moisture and it takes a long time to dry out and doesn't have any insulating properties, so it will make you feel cold very quickly. There are a number of fabrics that are really useful for outdoor activities, including hiking, and these are generally ones that are going to be breathable and take moisture away from your body, regulate your body temperature really well, and dry out really quickly as well. I'm going to talk now about the layering system that I use, and the one that I'm using right now actually has a total of 4 different layers, and really that depends on the time of year that I'm going out hiking. I'll normally only have 3, but when it comes to winter, I do like to have an additional mid layer that I can use to give me that extra bit of warmth in the colder months. So I'll go through each of the layers now, tell you about each one and the reasons that I've decided to use these pieces of clothing. Okay, so the first layer I'm going to talk about is my base layer. Generally what I like to hike in is a merino wool top, and that's what this one is. This is an icebreaker merino top, and I just really love this material because it's breathable and it takes moisture and sweat away from your body and just really feels comfortable to hike in. So I generally like to use a zip up one when I'm hiking rather than a crew neck, and the reason for that is I like to be able to turn the collar up so that I can get a bit more sun protection on my neck as I'm hiking along. And also because the zip allows you to sort of create a vent if it is getting a little bit hot just in my base layer, then I can actually just unzip this a bit more just to allow more airflow to come through. The other thing I really like about this particular one is they have a system called a zone system in it, and it just means that this one actually has these mesh panels underneath the arms and allows a lot more sort of airflow in those areas where you tend to sweat a lot more. So you can't really probably see it very easily because it's black, but it just really feels comfortable, and there's a lot of airflow through there. So this is my base layer of choice. I haven't really sort of hiked in shirts all that much, so I can't really sort of speak for that. I've just found that a long sleeve merino base layer works really well for me, and I'm kind of sticking with that at the moment. So that's my first layer. The next layer I'm going to talk about is one of my mid layers. Alright, so one of the 2 mid layers that I choose to use is a really lightweight Polartec fleece and this is a Polartec 100, so it's really lightweight. This particular one is the Marmot Rockland half zip. It doesn't have any sort of wind barrier in it, so it does still allow wind through. And generally I'll wear this if the weather is a little bit milder, and perhaps if it's a cool morning and I'm just getting started with hiking in the morning, I might just wear this over my base layer just for a little bit of extra warmth before it starts to get a little bit warmer. And for this layer, I just want something that's really simple. This one doesn't have any hand pockets in it. There's no additional pockets. It's just literally a fleece with the zip. So again, I can zip that up to keep myself warm if I need to keep a bit more wind out around my neck. And it's just a really nice, comfortable, soft layer. It dries out quickly and it's just really simple. It only weighs about, I think, 270 grams or so, so it's really light. It doesn't take up a huge amount of room in my pack. And I'll talk about the other mid layer that I have shortly. And generally, I would only usually use both my mid layers probably in the colder months in winter. And this one really just sits nicely between my base layer and the next mid layer that I'm going to talk about, just to create a little bit of extra warmth in those really cold months. So that's the first mid layer that I use. Next, I'll talk about my other mid layer, my down jacket. Alright, so I've just put on my other mid layer, which is my down jacket, and the one that I've actually just gone and bought pretty recently is the Arc'teryx Cerium LT. So I read some really good things about this jacket and I've just really been liking it, just the way it fits and feels. It's really lightweight. And I will talk some more about this jacket in a separate video, doing a bit of a review of that. So look out for that one in the coming weeks. But this jacket really is just lightweight. It's obviously really warm as well. And this one uses actually a combination of goose down and synthetic material in different places. They've actually put synthetic in parts where there's generally going to be more moisture, like under the arms and parts of the sleeves. So yeah, really good jacket. And I'll normally use this over the top of a fleece, generally in winter when I'm around camp, just so I've got that nice extra layer of warmth. In warmer months, I'll probably just use my down jacket only over a base layer, and I find that that's actually warm enough just to have those two layers, and then potentially the shell over the top if it's a bit colder, or obviously if it's wet as well. So the down jacket just really creates a nice layer of warmth, just lightweight as I said, because you've got the down that actually puffs up and gives you really good insulation. So I guess that's what you call this, is your insulating layer. And a down jacket is really useful for being able to insulate your body against the cold, keep yourself feeling warm, and that's really important when you're just around camp and it's cold outside. This acts as a really effective thermal layer for you. So that's the other mid layer that I use. The final one I'm going to talk about is my shell jacket. Alright, so the final layer that I've put on is my shell, and that's my rain jacket, and the one that I'm using is the Outdoor Research Optimizer. I talked about this jacket just a couple of weeks ago. It is a pretty new purchase for me as well, so I haven't actually had a chance to get out and try this out yet, but effectively it's a pretty lightweight jacket. It's going to give me waterproofing and also wind protection as well. So this is a windproof layer. That means that any chill from the wind that's coming through is going to be blocked by this layer and allow your body to keep heat in and not get colder from the wind that's coming through. So this is the final layer that I use for protection against the rain and the wind. I've actually put that on over my down jacket, so I still have the other three layers underneath this, and as you can see I've still got enough room to be able to move around in the jacket even with those other layers underneath. So it's a really comfortable fit, and with these layers on now you can definitely feel how much warmth is being trapped inside, and you know, I'm feeling really warm now. As I said before, in warmer months I definitely wouldn't be wearing this many layers, and just wouldn't carry 4 layers with me probably. I'd leave one of those at home. I would typically just use my base layer, have my down jacket in my pack, and also my rain jacket with me. And usually when the weather's warmer or more mild, that's actually going to be enough to layer up and allow me to regulate my body temperature really well. So as I was saying a bit earlier, you don't have to have heavy clothes. You can actually combine a number of lighter weight materials that have good thermal properties and combine all of those together to be able to layer up and layer down as you're getting hotter or colder. And overall, this entire set of layers, 4 different layers, only weighs probably just a little bit over a kilogram. So for 4 different layers, that's actually pretty lightweight. So today I've just talked about the upper body layering system that I use, and that's really because this is probably the most important area to be able to regulate your body temperature, because this is where you're going to lose or retain a lot of the heat in your body. And obviously the other important part is your head as well. I'll talk about all of the clothing that I use on hikes in another video. So obviously both what I wear and what I keep in my pack to use when I get to camp. But today I just really wanted to talk about the upper body layering system that I use to be able to effectively regulate my body temperature to either cool down or warm up and stay comfortable on all of my hikes. Alright, so that's it. That's the layering system that I'm currently using, and there are a couple of new bits of clothing in there, so I am still yet to try those out on hikes, but effectively they just replace a couple of other items that I had before. So essentially the system itself is the same, it's just using a couple of different pieces of clothing. So what kind of a layering system do you like to use? What type of fabrics do you like using for each layer? And how many layers do you normally use? Leave a comment down below. And if you got anything out of this video, hit the like button. And if you haven't had a chance to subscribe to my channel yet, hit the subscribe button. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you out on the trail next time.